Welcome to Thoughts Can Heal podcast. I am your host, Denise Lynn, and I am so excited that you are here, spending a few minutes out of your day with me. If you're new to my podcast, I want to welcome you, and if you're not, welcome back. Today, I wanted to jump on here and talk a little bit about how our inner environment is mirrored in our outer realities. And I was actually listening to a neuroscientist yesterday. I was on a webinar, and she explained it very, very well. And of course, whenever I learn something, I love to share it with other people, hoping that it can help somebody on their journey. So this is more about just talking about how our thoughts, our emotions, our beliefs, and our stress levels really direct so much in our life, and we don't always think about that. So, from a psychological perspective, your inner environment, again, your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, directly influences your behavior, the choices you make, how you respond to challenges, what you pay attention to, the opportunities you notice or that you miss. And these behaviors and perceptions then shape your outer life experiences, especially when in regards to relationships, career, home environment, and even our health. And this is widely supported in psychology. And then from a neuroscience perspective, your brain filters reality through something called the Reticular Activating System, RAS. When you hold certain beliefs or expectations, your brain selectively notices things that match them. So, for example, if you believe the world is a supportive, wonderful place, you notice opportunities. If you believe life is hard, you notice obstacles. And then this creates an outer reality that mirrors your inner worldview. So from, maybe more of a metaphysical perspective, or if you're into the law of attraction, it would be like your vibration, your expectations, your chronic emotional state. They're all reflected back to you in the form of circumstances and experiences. In this sense, your outer reality is a mirror of your inner state. So basically what I'm trying to get at is when we change our perception of things, our life, we can manifest the things that we truly want in our life. And first of all, we are always manifesting all the time. But when you want to be conscious about certain things that you're wanting to bring into your life, whether it's relationships or abundance, health, our minds play such a huge role in all of these things, because it's our thoughts and our beliefs that ultimately are helping us attract whatever's coming in, whether it's good or bad. So the cool thing is we can be conscious and select and create a reality that we actually desire. Now, before I go on, I do want to say, this doesn't mean that you're to blame for every external challenge that happens. I mean, there are many external factors that we don't have control over. But what we do have control over is our own internal environment. And when we get and become aware of how our thoughts are affecting, our health, our finances, our relationships, the way we feel just in general, when we become aware of that, we can start changing the negative thoughts and start affirming positive thoughts that are in alignment with the lives that we want to live. Now, where this gets a little tricky, as far as in my life at least, and I'm sure many people who are listening have experienced trauma or have suffered with, anxiety, maybe an anxiety disorder, like I have. It can be very difficult. And that's because our nervous systems might be dysregulated. And before we can really start manifesting good things into our life, we must, it's like the number one first thing we have to do. We have to regulate our nervous systems. And some of the ways that I do it and what I teach are, of course, yoga practices, breath work, heart coherence. I offer several different things. And as a matter of fact, if you're listening to this podcast on either Apple or Spotify or one of the other podcast hosts, if you're not watching it on YouTube, I would love to invite you to my YouTube channel, because I also share some gentle yoga practices. So yeah, that would be awesome if you're interested, if you're into that. But yes, we must get our nervous systems regulated. And even if you're somebody that isn't suffering with trauma or, PTSD or an anxiety disorder per se, I believe everybody can benefit from daily practices that help you regulate and get regulated and regulate your nervous system. Because let's face it, while stress is not normal, it is a part of our world. And the more tools that we have to manage our stress and feel safe in our bodies, the better this world's going to be. So, yeah, it's kind of hard when you have a dysregulated nervous system to have good thoughts. But once you start regulating the nervous system, you'll notice that your thoughts do improve. But I think you need to do both. I think you need to use the tools to regulate the nervous system, of course. And I'm saying this if you're wanting to manifest some good stuff in your life, which who doesn't? And we all deserve it. So regulating the nervous system, feeling safe, and also being aware of that inner environment, of the thoughts that you're thinking. And if you're holding on to resentment, or you're comparing, or you're jealous, or any angry, none of those things are going to help you in any way at all. So we have to first work on those. And how do we do that? We just become aware that even if somebody has done something really that you perceive is wrong, it's time to let it go. They did it one time, most likely, usually. Of course, there can be other circumstances, but, okay, they do it one time, but you keep going over it again and again and again and again in your mind. Think about that. You're hurting yourself every time you have an angry thought, or resentful, or comparison, or jealousy. You're hurting you, not them. Was it right what they did? No. But sometimes it's just time to let go, so that you can have peace of mind, so that you can start attracting the good things that you want in your life, so that your inner voice and your inner world become a much nicer place to live. Your thoughts become clearer. You become more grateful when you let go of all that garbage. So letting go of all the yucky stuff, working on our nervous systems, taking care of us, doing breath work daily, doing some light stretching daily, things that are going to stimulate the vagus nerve and lower cortisol, the stress hormone. And then we can start becoming more aware of when we're thinking positively or when we're thinking negatively. And then when we're thinking negatively, we can switch it. All right, my friends, I hope this helps. I'm going to leave a few links. Maybe I'll leave a link to my YouTube channel in the show notes. Also, I want to invite you to my website. I'm offering a free download of my book, Thoughts Can Heal, 30 Daily Practices to Help Heal Anxiety. So go grab you one. It's for free. All right, as always, at the end of the podcast, we breathe together. So find a comfortable place and just don't do this while you're driving, please. You can always come back to it. I'd like you to sit up straight or lie down. Either way. Close your eyes. Relax your jaw. Relax your shoulders. We're going to take a deep breath in through our nose and a longer exhale out of our mouth. And this is a breathing technique that can help you regulate your nervous system. So keep this in mind. Something you could do every day. All right, deep breath in through the nose. Exhale out. Five more times. All right, my friends. Well, as I'm recording this, it is the end of November, and we're getting ready to go into 2026. So what I would love would be for us all, anyone who's listening to this, to make this upcoming year the best yet by letting go of things that no longer serve us, forgiving ourselves, regulating our nervous systems. They need us so that we can start manifesting the life that we desire and deserve. All right. Check out my yoga classes and go grab a free book. Until next time, take care. Namaste.